I thought tonight we would be starting a brand new series, but God has led me in a new direction, and I always want to make sure that I honor God in that and that I try to follow wherever He's leading us. And I really felt like this message in particular was where God wanted me to go tonight. There was growing up, I grew up in an area where it was out in the middle of nowhere, and we basically went coon hunting for fun. Has anyone ever went coon hunting in this room? By a raise of hand, like you've went coon hunting. All right, Landon. Anybody else? Okay, so basically it is complete darkness outside. You've got woods in the middle of nowhere. You have coon dogs. You turn those dogs loose. They take off running through the woods, and then you wait for a long time until they go, "Arr, arr!" And then that usually means that they're on a trail. And then once they start going, "Arr, arr, arr, arr," that means that they have treed a raccoon. And so you walk through the woods to go find you walk through the woods to go find your dog, and then you look up in the tree to try to find the coon, and then you kill the raccoon. Yay. It's like, why would you do that? So basically like back then you could get like $30 out of a skin for a raccoon. Probably nothing now, but so me and my buddies, we would do that for fun growing up, and we would set out like live traps to try to catch the raccoon. So I said let's say this is basically tonight we're going to be talking about traps. And I guess I title this The Great Escape, and you'll find out why in a second. But I want to talk to you about some different types of traps and how that they can apply to our lives. Okay, so there was the first trap that I want to talk to you about is called a steel trap. Okay, if you don't know what a steel trap is, you've probably seen it's like these claws that's like this, and there's like a lever in the middle. And when something steps on that lever, it grabs their foot. So, for instance, there was a fox. And this fox was, just enjoying its casual walk through the woods one day. And as it was walking through the woods, it thought that things were going to be really good that day. And that he had a plan, like he was going to go to get a drink, and then after that he was going to go sit. He was going to wait because he knew that there was a rabbit in this specific area that he was going to try to pounce on. And so he had that in mind, that that's what he was going to do out for his day. And as he was on his way to his walking to the stream to get a drink of water, he steps on this trap, and it closes on his leg, and he cannot move because the trap. The other thing about these traps is they have a chain that has like a spike in the ground so that they can't run away. So that the trapper or the fowler can come and they can catch the animal that they trap. So that's like a trapping. So you probably heard like a bear trap, like they do that same thing with bears. So anyway, so here he is, and he's trapped in this trap, right? And he can't get out of this trap. Like he pulls, he tries to twist, he tries to jump, he tries to do everything he can, but he cannot get out of this trap. And so he lays there. And he's thinking, all right, this is not good. This really hurts. My leg is broke, and I can't get out of this trap right now. So the fox keeps wiggling and keeps moving, and nothing's really happened. He can't break free from the trap. He goes like another day, and he still can't get free from this trap. Another day. And then another day. And finally, he's dehydrated. He has no strength left. And he realizes that he is going to die in this trap. This fox that had all these plans and everything thought out in his life is now realizing, I am going to die. But he gets this idea and he gets this thought. Literally, the only way that I can get free from this trap is if I bite my own leg off. And so the fox, with the excruciating pain, he's dehydrated, he's weak, he has no strength left. he begins chewing on his own leg, biting his own leg, until finally he chews and bites his own leg off. And the fox walks away, and the fox ends up getting free. But throughout the rest of his life, this fox had to walk throughout life having 3 legs and just a nub on the rest of it. And so I said all that to say this. Matthew 18:9 says, if your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life maimed or crippled than have 2 hands or 2 feet and be thrown into an eternal fire. You know, I'm sure that this fox looked back and he thought, man, that hurt so bad. I've got wounds from this now. I'm missing a leg. I'm dehydrated. This is going to affect me the rest of my life. This is going to hurt the rest of my life. But the fox realized, I'm not dead. That trap should have kept me there, and that trap should have killed me. But somehow, some way, I was able to endure it and to break my own leg off and to survive that. I shouldn't have made it through it, but somehow, some way, I survived. And some of you here tonight are literally stuck in a trap. You're literally stuck in a trap that you cannot get out of. You've tried to get out of it. You've tried to do this. You've tried to do that. But it seems like there's just no way out of this trap. And I would say probably there's a thought coming in your mind right now like, yeah, I'm trapped. I can't get out of this. I can't break free from this situation. And you're stuck in a trap. And it started out as just not paying attention or not really thinking about the consequences. Like when you set a steel trap, you basically are, you're opening the steel trap, and once it opens, it's like a circular lever in the middle. And once that's activated, that's when it traps their leg, okay? So imagine that, and imagine this fox. And here's what they do. So they basically will set one of these traps on like a game trail or something like that. And what they'll do is they'll take like some like leaves and kind of cover over it so that you don't recognize there's a trap there that you're about to step on. So they'll put like some sticks and things like that to kind of blend it into the environment. And so it really isn't noticeable. It really just kind of blends into the environment. And it literally just appears normal. It appears normal. And I thought, wow, isn't that just like the enemy? Isn't that just like Satan? Because he isn't coming to you guys every single day with these big, huge horns and a pitchfork and a cape. Like you don't see that guy in your everyday life. Like you would picture the devil, right? Like no, he doesn't come to you guys in that way. He comes to you in very normal and very subtle ways, in ways that you probably sometimes don't even recognize that it's even a trap. It's just like the enemy. He blends into the environment, and he does it all through normal things. For instance, you might see zero harm in a relationship. Like, you don't see any harm in dating someone right now, right? Like, there's no harm in that. We're cool. Everybody dates. It's normal. Jamie, you dated. It's a normal thing. People date. Get over it, Jamie. It's normal. It's just a normal. So why not me? I should be able to date somebody too. And a lot of you might even you feel that pressure. It's like, oh, I really like them, but it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm really ready for that. It's like you just feel that tension. Maybe you see no issues as hanging out at the party because you know yourself, like, I don't have any intentions of getting drunk or drinking. Like, I don't have any intentions of doing that. Like, I'm good. I'm not gonna vape. I'm not gonna do any drugs. I'm not gonna do anything like that. Like, I'm good to go to that party because you have no intentions of doing any of these things. But you have some friends that are going, and so, well, if they go, it's cool because I know that they don't do that, so it's cool if I go. And you have fun, and it's just normal. Like, that's what normal kids do. That's what normal teens do. We have fun. Maybe you don't see any issue with just zoning out in your room and listening to dark, negative music all the time. Like, you don't see anything wrong in that. Like, there's nothing wrong with just I like the beat. I like this artist. And the words is just filling your mind all the time. It's like, I don't really see anything wrong with that. Even though, like, they're devaluing women in their lyrics, or they're talking about suicidal thoughts in their lyrics, or whatever they're doing. And it's like, I don't see any problem with that. There's no issue in that. But the problem is it seems like a subtle, normal thing, right? But the problem is that relationship has now gotten to a place to where you start out like, oh, we're going to start off, we're holding hands. We're comfortable with each other. Cool. There's nothing wrong with that. They're a good person, and there's just something about their face. I really just want to kiss them. I want to kiss them, you know? And so it's like, okay, I'm comfortable. I'm to that stage now. I'm going to kiss them. It's a harmless little kiss, and this kiss is now just too much for you. It's not really enough for you to just kiss. And I know, man, I want to save myself for my future spouse. I know that I want to do this. Like, I've kind of set that in my mind, like that's what I'm going to do. But maybe just send them a picture of myself wouldn't really hurt. Like kind of like a little less clothing on. Like, that wouldn't hurt too much, right? Like, it wouldn't hurt if I just send them a picture in my underwear, anything like that. Like, that wouldn't hurt anything. It wouldn't cause any issues. And then that turns into this harmful little game of swapping photos back and forth. And then you, it's like, all right, and you start justifying that in your mind, like, okay, I'm doing it on Snapchat, like there's no trace of that stuff, like, we're good, it's not a big deal, it's harmless fun. And that turns into this game, and it's like, yeah, we're good. But then that turns into, well, we can do everything but go all the way. And you try to fight that. And then it's like that's no longer enough. And then finally you are doing what you swore that you would never ever do, that you vowed to God, I would never do this. I'm saving myself for my husband, for my wife. And now you're there. And you're stuck in this steel trap because you basically now have a soul tie with that person, and it's like, why can't I get away from this person? Like, it's not a good, healthy relationship, but I can't get away from them because you now have a soul tie and you are stuck in a steel trap. The pressure of that party and the curiosity of what that drink will taste like starts out as that, like, oh, I can just have a taste. Like, and so you take a drink of that beverage, and it's like, oh, this is disgusting. I never want to do this again. Why did I do that? That was dumb. And then the next time you go back to that party, it's like, and then your friends are like, hey, just go ahead and, just like, just try this. Like, nah, I'm good. I tried it last time. Oh, yeah, but that was beer. That was bitter. Like, you don't want that. Like, try this. It's really fruity. It's really good. And that becomes, this is good. And then that just continues into, so you begin to experiment, to try different flavors. Like, oh, I want to try all these flavors. Like, I really like this. And then those, you don't see the problem in that. So you begin continuing down that road. And now you see it's a problem in your life. It started out as a little harmless sip, but now it's becoming a problem. Because now maybe you're at the point to where maybe you have went and you've like stole money out of your mom's purse to try to buy this stuff. Or you're at a place to where you're just doing whatever you can to do that. And maybe now like like that's no longer good enough for you. So now it's like I need to I want to try drugs. Like I see the way that people are acting like that, and like it looks fun and like they're acting crazy and they're having fun. And so now you want to kind of go to that length. And you're there. And you realize, like, man, this is a problem. It's a problem in my life. Like I stole from my mom. Like I snuck out of my house. And my body's at a place like where I need more of this stuff. And you're realizing now, like, I'm in a trap. I am stuck in a trap. I didn't intend to get here. I didn't see this coming, but I'm here and I'm stuck. And I can't get out of it. You sit in your room, listen to depressive music, and you're alone all the time. You've blocked out people out of your own life because you've decided that you've been hurt way too much to be vulnerable with anybody else. And so what you've done is you sit alone at home and you soak in this awful, terrible music and you feed your mind with that. And then you begin to think, this little voice comes in your head because you've been so numb to everything else. Like you've been hurt by friends. You might have been hurt by family. You've been hurt by a relationship with a boy or a girl. And you've been really hurt by that. And there's this little whisper in your ear that begins to tell you, what would it feel like to just put a little nick on your skin? What would that feel like to just hurt yourself? So maybe you began taking a lighter or a match to just like, I'm going to burn myself. I want to do that. Maybe you, that's maybe not what you do, but maybe you begin to like, I'm going to take out my anger and my frustration, and I'm just going to punch holes in my wall, and I'm going to go nuts, and I'm going to go crazy because you're so numb and you need, because of what you're doing, it's like you're doing this, you're so numb and you just want to feel. Maybe you're cutting yourself because that numbness is just something you don't want to feel anymore. You're tired of being numb. Because when you do all these things, it takes away the numbness for just a little bit. But the problem is now that's become your coping mechanism. That's how you cope so that you don't slip into depression and anxiety because of what you're dealing with. You are trapped. You are stuck in a steel trap. You didn't intend to get there. There ain't nothing that you did to get there. But because of maybe one little thing, one little negative thought, one thing that someone said about you, you are now stuck in this trap. And it's a steel trap that you can't get out of. You know the thing that you didn't realize about it at first was that it was a trap. Like you had no idea, like this was a trap. Like you had no idea. But now you're realizing like this is a trap in my life. This is a big problem and a big issue. But you see, the thing that I think that we can take away from the fox in this story is that the only way that you're going to be able to escape is by cutting something off. And I don't want you to take that verse literal, like, oh, okay, like if I sin, like I should cut my hands off. No, don't do that. Like, don't take that literal. That's metaphorically, okay? Like, that's a metaphor. Don't cut your hands off. There's another instance where, like, Jesus is saying, like, if you look at someone lustfully, it'd be better if you just gouge your eyes out. Like, don't do that. But these are, like, things where he's trying to get you to get the point. Like, it'd be better for you to do that than to spend an eternity in a place called hell. It'd be way better for you to do that than to experience an eternity in a place called hell, a place that you weren't meant to go. But the thing about this fox is he literally had to cut something off. You know, the awesome thing about trees, when you trim a tree, when I cut a branch off of that tree, do you know what happens to the piece that I cut off? Do you know what happens to it? It dies. It withers and dies. That piece of that tree, it's dead. It's dead wood. It's going to dry out. We're going to cast it in the fire. We're going to burn it, okay? That's the thing that I know about trees. But the also thing that I know about trees, when I was growing up, my dad always trimmed our trees, and they looked horrific. They looked terrible. They looked really bad because it's like he's cutting them down to like nubs. Like, why would you do this? And by the end of that season, we would have these big, beautiful, like luscious trees, and they were filled full of like big green leaves and things like that. Why? Because he cut off what was not necessary for those trees. And those trees began to grow and to be strong. Why was that? Because he cut off the things that weren't necessary. You see, the thing is once you cut something off of your life, it no longer has control of your life. And that's what I think a lot of you guys need to do and take from this lesson, is to just cut some things off of your life. Some of you might need to really cut that boyfriend or girlfriend out of your life, because I'm telling you, they're leading you down a bad road. And if they are, if you're doing things that you know in your heart are not right, I'm telling you, you are probably not ready to be dating right now. I'm just being honest. You need to say, am I really ready for this? Is the way that I am acting around this person, is my actions, is the things that we are texting, the messaging back and forth, does that really say, man, I am a child of God, and I want to honor this other person? If it doesn't, maybe that is something you aren't ready for. Because some of you need to cut some things out of your life. And it's like, oh, that hurts. Like, it hurts to, like, break up with someone, like, doesn't it? Like, why does it hurt so much? Because we were meant to be in a relationship with someone. We're not meant to break up. Like God designed, like, dating's not in the Bible, even. Like God designed marriage because it's like that's what we're meant to do. And I don't want you to think that just because you're dating someone that you're sinning, because you're not. But it's like, what's the fruit of that right now during this season of your life? What is the effects of that? How is it affecting your relationship with God? Are they number one, or is God number one? Like think about these questions. And like if you need to say, like, listen, we need to rethink our relationship because I want to honor God in that, and we haven't been doing that. Maybe you need to take a break from that relationship. Maybe you need to have an honest conversation with that guy or that girl and say, listen, we need to take a break for a while, like because we've went too far. We've done things that I know in my heart's wrong, and I can't do this because I'm a Christian. I want to honor God with my life, and I know that hurts. It does. It's going to hurt you so bad. But if you stay in that relationship long enough, if you know it's a toxic relationship, if they're verbally abusive, if they're a jerk to you, if you stay in that relationship long enough, let me tell you something. It will zap your joy. It will ruin who you are. It will cause a lot of heartaches and a lot of problems in your life that you were not meant to have. It can destroy your reputation. They could draw you away from Jesus because they don't really care how they live their life, but you do, and so you're being unequally yoked with that person. So you're going down this rabbit hole that you weren't intended to go down. And you know the bad thing about a steel trap is if you stay in that steel trap long enough, you know what's going to happen? You will die. You're going to die. Some of you guys are living this life of this alternative life from here. And you're living this life in sin, and you're just continually diving into that. I'm telling you, it's going to lead to death, and it's going to lead to destruction. It's going to lead to so many negative things in your life. The next trap I want to talk to you about is the log trap. This might be one that you have never ever heard of, but basically in Kenya they have a really bad problem with monkeys. And so, because like monkeys will come in, they'll steal their food, they'll take stuff, like they have a really bad problem with monkeys. Like they're coming in, they're stealing their kids. They're killing. No, I made that up. That's not happening. But I just want to see if you guys are paying attention. They're they're stealing like lots of their food and supplies and things like that. And so they have a really bad problem. So they had to figure out, like, they don't really have like the money to get certain things. So they made their own trap, okay? And what they done was they hollowed out the middle of a log. And when they hollowed out the middle of the log, what they done was they put fruit down in the log. And they had holes on either end of the log, just enough where the monkey could smell what was in there and even glance to see what was in there. And what the monkey would do is the monkey will see that fruit, and the monkey will reach back in there to grab the food. And what happens is when the monkey reaches back in there, his hand is now bigger because he's got the fruit in his hand, He'll pull on that, and he can't get out. He can't get out of the log. Why is that? Because he can't let go of the fruit. The reason the monkey can't get free is because he can't let go. My dad's family, I don't know if anybody has any family that they can relate to this, but my dad's side of the family fight all the time. Literally all the time. I cannot tell you the last Christmas that we have had as a family because they are constantly at each other's throats. They hate each other. They're just negative towards each other. So it's like they don't even get together for Christmas anymore. Why? Because they can't let go of stupid arguments and disagreements, and it's caused this wedge in between them because they cannot let go. And it's so sad to see that because they can't let go of this stuff. I just want to like go up to them and like shake them, like, let it go. Or like go up to them, and like, let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Okay, I'll quit. Some of you here tonight, you can't let go of what somebody said about you. You can't let go of what this person did to you. It's like, I will never, ever forgive them. They are dead to me. And so you've cut that person out of your life. You don't talk to that person anymore. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's a close friend. But you have cut them out of your life because you're like, they hurt me too bad, and I will never forgive them, ever. And you can't let that thing go. But the thing that you need to do? It's like, man, I'm so hurt by that. You have to let it go, but you have to give that to God. Like, listen, God, I'm broken because of this. I'm so hurt because of this. They said something really terrible about me. They really, really hurt me. But you got to let it go. Because the reality is that other person is not hurting or being affected by that decision that they made. But the one that's really hurting is you. Maybe a parent hurt you. Maybe your parents got divorced, and that has caused a lot of hurt and a lot of pain in your life. It's caused so many wounds in your life. And maybe you're mad or you're upset at your dad for what he did or your mom for what they did. And it's like, I can't ever let this go. I'm so mad and angry. But you've tried to move on, and you've tried to just put on that smile like, yeah, everything's good. But the reality is you're not good. You're hurt. You're broken. And you got to give that thing to God. You got to say, I got to let this thing go because it's killing me. It's destroying me. Do you know that the heaviest thing that you can carry in your life is a grudge? It's the heaviest thing that you can carry in life, and you're not meant to carry grudges. If a boy broke up with you, if a girl broke up with you, let it go. Okay? I know you're hurt now, but I promise you, God is behind the scenes, and He is molding and shaping your future husband, your future wife. And I'm telling you, He has the best for your life. He has the absolute best. So why would you settle for anything less than that? Why would you settle for someone that's going to lead you astray, lead you down a wrong path where your life isn't going to be blessed, but you're going to spend the rest of your life in total misery? When God's like, no, I've got good things for you. But the only way that you're going to be able to experience the good things is if you let go of these things that are holding you back. We got to let go. You got to let go. If your friends hurt your feelings and they made you mad, you got to let it go. Some of you here tonight, you can't let go of your past. God's forgiven you of that, but you can't move on because you're living in shame yourself. It's like, I can never forgive myself for what I did. If anybody here knew what I did, then I probably wouldn't be allowed in this building. And it's killing you. You got so many regrets. Like if God's forgiven you, He has forgot about it, and so should you. We got to move on. Proverbs 14:30 says, "A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but in thee the rottenness of the bones." So whatever it is that you're holding on to that you know, you see, if you hold on to something, you can't move forward. If you hold on to something, you're not living your life because you're stuck in that place. All because you haven't let it go. Just let it go. The next trap I want to talk about, and this is the one that we used a lot of times when we was coon hunting. But there was this thing called a live trap. So we have the steel trap, we have the log trap, and now we have the live trap. Now this live trap is, you've probably seen these, it's like a rectangular cage, basically, about this tall, about that long. And it's got these doors on both ends. And these doors hinge open. And on the one end is a lever. Once that lever gets a little bit of weight on it, the door closes behind it. And when the door closed behind it, you would usually put like some food in there. We put like dog food or something like that, or corn. And they would begin eating that. And a lot of times we would catch like a possum or a raccoon in the trap. And yeah. So here it is. These furry creatures are in there. They're eating. And here's the thing about a live trap is they didn't even a lot of them will just be eating the food and not even realize that they're trapped. A lot of you are in situations that you don't even realize is a trap. That you don't even know or have a clue that it's a trap. And it may be for you, like this is enjoyable for right now. Like, it's fine. But the reality is you're stuck in a cage that you can't get out of. Like, maybe there is something in your life that you can't pinpoint what it is. Like, I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint that thing, but I'm just stuck right now. Like it isn't like a particular sin or anything like that. Like, you just feel like there is something holding you back. Like you just feel like I don't know what it is. Like I just there's something about it. Like you've now gotten to the place where you're complacent, to where you're very apathetic, to where you don't really care about anything much at all. Like you're not really concerned really about much growing in your faith really anymore. It's like if I were to honestly ask, if I were to go around with a microphone and you to honestly answer me, when is the last time that you sit down and open up the Bible and read and ask God, what do you want to say to me today? You guys want me to do that real quick? Like, just raise a hand, like, go around and ask real quick. Okay, that's what I thought. When's the last time you've opened the Bible? When's the last time that you have sit there and said, God, what do you want to speak to me today? When's the last time that you've gotten on your hands and knees? And when's the last time that you've cried out to God, God, please help me. God, please rescue this person. They're going through a really rough time right now. God, please heal this person of cancer. Lord, please do this. When's the last time that you've gotten down and gotten really serious and begged God for something? Or are you just going through the motions? Not even realizing you're in a trap right now, because the trap is You don't realize you're trapped, but the reality is you don't spend any time with God, so you don't even realize that anything's wrong because you've become so numb. Couldn't tell me the last time you prayed. Because you're at a point right now where you're just, especially in this season of life where we're quarantined, all this stuff, you're just kind of going through the motions, right? Revelations chapter 2, starting with verse 2 says, I know your works, your labor and your endurance, and that you cannot tolerate evil people. You have tested those who call themselves apostles and are not, and you have found them to be liars. I know that you have preserved and endured hardships for the sake of my name. This is Jesus talking. And you have not grown weary. You have not grown weary in enduring hardships. Jesus says, I have this against you. You've abandoned the love that you had at first. Remember then how far you have fallen. Repent and do the works that you did at first. Otherwise, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place unless you repent. Think about this. When you first ask Jesus into your heart, like let's be honest, like you first make that decision, like you're crying, like, oh God, I'm changing everything in my life. I'll never ever sin again. Lord, I give you my all. And then literally a week later, you're back in that funk again. You have forgotten your first love. You've gotten to the place, especially in the season, I think it's real easy to forget our first love and to forget Jesus. Like you're serving, you're loving others, and that's what they were saying. Like they were serving, they were loving others, but they weren't doing it with the right motives. Like they were just going through the motions. And I think it's real easy as a Christian just to go through the motions. Like if someone asks you, like, are you a Christian? Like, yeah, I'm a Christian. But outside of that, like what other validation do you have that you are? Because you're just going through the motions, and it's real easy to fall into that mentality when you're Christian to be like this slave to Christian service type of thing, right? But the problem is you're no longer loving. Like you're going through those motions, but you're not doing it out of the right motives. You're not doing it with love. And when we forget the price for our salvation, and when we let self-centeredness, apathy, when we let those things steal our joy, our work for God becomes empty and displeasing to Jesus. Because here's what I want you guys to know. Please remember this and write it down if you have to. Throughout the rest of your life, I want you to remember this key point. What you do will never be as important as who you serve. What you do will never be as important as who you serve. If we're too busy doing things for Jesus, that we're spending time with Him, then we're no different from the church in Ephesus. My last trap that I want to talk to you about is this guy right here. Of course, this isn't a mousetrap. This is a whole other level. This will break a finger probably. Like this will hurt if it if it hits your finger real bad. So, in light of that, let me see if I can try to do this sermon illustration while talking on this. I don't know. But see, the thing about a mousetrap, and I got a little bit bigger for, visual purposes, But the thing about a mousetrap is this, that I've learned, is that a mouse, you usually set it like this, and this is always the scariest part of setting a mousetrap. If you've ever set a mouse, oh, please do not do it. Oh gosh. The scariest part of setting a mousetrap is that right there. Like, oh, please do not snap my finger off. But this is a rat trap, so it's a whole other level. Okay. So you got a mousetrap, right? And what do you do with a mousetrap? You put like peanut butter on it typically because it's like, or like that spray cheese, you know. It sounds really good right now, like some spray cheese on like some crack, like some Ritz crackers. That'd be a good idea. What's the other? There's another one that I like that's good with it. Like the wheat thins. The wheat thins? It's good with it? Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyways, moving on. So you got a mousetrap, right? And it looks good. It looks nice, right? Like it looks really good to a mouse. But what is this thing meant to do? It is meant to kill you. Not you, but to kill a mouse or to kill a rat. It is meant to choke the life out of them. Because it springs on their neck, and then you see like their big eyes so with that, Anna has brought her rat so we can show a demonstration. No, I'm just teasing. It's a joke. It was a joke. Okay. But I honestly do not understand a mouse, okay? So let's dial it back in. I do not understand a mouse because think about it. You got an entire kitchen, right? You got this entire kitchen full of food, right? They can get into chip bags. They can get into cereal boxes. They can do all of that. And yet they will bypass all of that because there's a little bit of convenient peanut butter on this trap, right? They'll bypass all of that. You think of Adam and Eve in the garden, like they had the best fruit, the best vegetables imaginable. Like this is before sin entered the world, so I'm just like, imagine this crazy, awesome stuff. Like, I won't go down that rabbit hole, but that's kind of crazy. Like, I just had this picture of like Cloudy with a chance of meatballs and like all these like huge like fruits and vegetables. Like you're just walking down. Never mind. Okay. Anyways, so it looks good. It looks presentable. But Adam, they had all this stuff to eat from, and yet they choose to eat this one thing that they know is going to bring them death. They bypass all of this goodness. Like God created everything, and it's good. You have freedom in the garden. You have freedom to do whatever you want, but this one tree is not good for you. And what did? They decided to eat from that anyways, and because of that, you and I are facing the consequences still today because of their decisions. So here they are, like, and maybe you're thinking, like, you know what, like, okay, everybody's in bed, it's late at night, like, it's okay to watch this porn or this video because no one's around, it's not hurting anybody, like, it's okay to do that. Like it's not gonna hurt to have sex before marriage. That shouldn't hurt anyone. Like we both agree on it. Like we're good. Like it's okay. It's okay to be like I can be lazy and clean my room. Like I don't really care what my parents say. Like they it won't hurt me to do these things. Like it's just harmless fun to send a picture or a video. Like it's okay. Like it's cool. Like they'll probably send me like okay. It's okay to do those things. Like it's okay to like to steal or to lie. Like that's okay. Like it's okay to do what my parents told me to do. Like it's okay not to do them. It's okay to tell a white lie because like I know that's making them feel better. Like because I don't want to hurt their feelings. Like that's okay. It's okay to do this or to do that. It's okay. But the reality is that I'm telling you, you mess around with sin long enough, you begin eating from that tree long enough, and I promise you, the closer you get to it, the more time you spend eating on that. Like, yeah, you're being careful. I'm being cautious. I'm not hurting anybody. But you get close to it and, oh my gosh, oh, thank goodness. I'm good. Good. It's okay. Yeah, like I didn't hurt anybody. But you spend there a little bit longer because you realize, like, oh, it's okay. I didn't get hurt. It's okay. Oh my gosh. It's okay. But I'm telling you, you stay there long enough. You continue this thing long enough. Oh gosh. Maybe I should do something. If I just like it's okay. Like I can unlock this part of my life. Like, it's okay. Like, what are the things that I'm missing out on? Well, what is it? Oh! And bam. Just like that. And when you do that, do you know what happens? Like that thing that you thought was harmless and wasn't hurting anything, now you have ruined your reputation. Now, because you've done that, you are killing your future. You're killing your reputation. You're killing your relationship with friends and with parents. You're killing these things. If you stay there long enough, I'm telling you, that thing will snap. We got to quit messing around with this thing. We got to quit tiptoeing the line and thinking that it's okay. Because it's not okay. It's not okay to live a life in sin. Because you see, here's the thing that I don't get about a mouse. Like they have the entire kitchen to get whatever they want. They can get some chips out of a bag. They can bite a hole in it. They can do all that stuff. And yet they choose to feed off of this rotting, dead thing that all the mice before them have died on. This nasty thing that has the stench of death, they continue to feed from it. Why do we continue to do the same thing? Because the reality is that God has given you and He's given me an entire kitchen full of goodness. He's given you an entire pantry full of good things. And yet we choose to indulge and to play around with sin like it's a game. It's not a game. Your soul and your eternity is not a game. It's just not. Romans 6:23 says this. Do you know what the consequences of our sin is? Romans 6:23, for the wages of sin, it's death. It means that the cost of sin, it's death. But the free gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus our Lord. Guys, God's blessed us with a great life. Why are we continuing to eat off of this thing called sin? It's not worth it. It is not worth it. No boy, no girl, no dating relationship is worth going to hell over. Because I'm telling you, you walk out that door and on your way home tonight, a deer crosses the road and your parent swerves off the road and you hit a tree and boom, you are into eternity. Is that temporary moment of pleasure, is it really worth your soul? Maybe thinking like, what? Why doesn't God, Jamie, like these things are fun. Like I'm a teenager. I want to live my life. I want to make mistakes. Like why doesn't God want me to enjoy these things in my life? Like why is God such a responsible parent and adult? Like why are these things considered so sinful? Like why, Jamie? Like I don't get it. Because you know what God realizes, and you know why God continues to repeat these things over and over and over again? Because He's trying to tell you, it's a trap. It's a trap. Don't do it. Don't commit sex before you're married. Don't indulge. Don't envy people. Don't be jealous. Don't gossip. Don't do these things because He knows it's a trap. He knows it's going to damage your life so much. It's a trap. And you may be here tonight thinking like there's no way out of this trap. I've tried. I've been like the fox, and I've tried to cut some things out of my life again, but it's like still I'm stuck here in this place. You're stuck. You don't see any way out, but I promise you that God wants to provide a way of escape for you. That this trap you're in, whatever it may look like, whatever it is, it may look difficult. It may look like it's impossible, but I promise you, God doesn't intend for you to stay there. He doesn't want you to stay there. He provided that way for you and I by coming to the cross and dying for our sins. And we never forget that. Jesus died an awful, gruesome death so that we didn't have to spend the rest of our life stuck in traps. 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." So whatever you're going through, God's provided a way out. I love this last verse I want to share with you. It's Psalms 91, starting with verse 1. "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare." That's something you can take to the bank. He will rescue you from any snare, from any trap. He came to rescue you out of your sinful state. He doesn't want you to stay there. So if you guys would just stand with me tonight, I'm going to have our leaders come and stand on the side of the room. If you're here tonight and you're stuck in that still trap, like, man, I need to cut something. God's saying, you need to cut this out of your life because it's destroying your life. Maybe you need to come pray with the leader tonight. If you're here tonight and maybe it's not that, maybe you're not stuck in a trap that way, but maybe you're like the second trap, and maybe you just can't let go of something that happened to you or something that was done to you. Like, you can't let go of this. You can't let go of that boy. Like, you can't let go of that girl. Like, you keep going after him. God's saying, let it go. Let your past go. Let these things go in your life. God is calling you, wanting you to let those things go. You need to let that go tonight. If you're stuck in a trap, you don't know how you got there. You had no idea, you had no intentions of getting there. Nothing. But man, you're stuck in that still trap. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm stuck. I can't move forward and do kingdom work. I can't do things for God like I want to do because I feel like I'm stuck. I can't pinpoint it. I don't know what it is, but I'm stuck, and you're in that cage you can't get out of. You need to go pray with someone. If you're here tonight and you've been chewing on the peanut butter, I guess I could say, you've been messing around with sin that you know in your heart is wrong, and you know it's deadly, you know it leads to death, you know it's not good for you, but it's like, I'm stuck in this place, I can't get enough of this, then you need to go pray with someone. I want to just do that tonight. I just want to just give you that opportunity. We're just going to bow our heads. I want you guys to just be reverent, not looking around. But I wonder tonight if you're here and you would just be real honest and just, as no one's looking around, like, man, I'm stuck in a trap. I'm stuck in this place. You know what God's telling you to. You know what you're dealing with. You know what you're struggling with. Please don't walk out the door with that. Because if you're dealing with sin in your life and you're struggling with that right now, where would you be tonight? As we're standing with our head bowed and our eyes closed, where would you be if God came back right now, where would you be? Would you say, yeah, I'm good. I know where I'm going. I have full confidence in that. Great. But if you can't say that, then I ask that you just go pray with one of our leaders on the side of the room. It's like, I just don't know. I don't know. And you want to be sure of that. Listen, God can give you that clarity. God can make you sure of that. He wants to do that for you tonight. So as everyone's got their head bowed, their eyes closed, why don't you just go pray with someone? I just truly feel like God wants to do some things in this place tonight. I don't even know that we even go to small groups tonight because I want to see God move. I want to see God move in your hearts. He loves you. He's crazy about you. I know what you're thinking, like it's impossible to get out of this trap, Jamie, because like you don't know my trap. It's different than all those. I've tried to get out of this trap, but it's impossible. Go pray with someone. Go pray with someone. Last question I want to ask is, maybe you're here and it's like I'm kind of nervous to step out, even though I know I need to. Like that pounding in your chest right now and your heart about beat out of your chest, that's God speaking to your heart right now that you need to make a move. But if you're here right now and you've never asked Jesus into your heart, you are just a heartbeat away from stepping into eternity. I wouldn't play around with that. If you're here and you say, I've never asked Jesus into my heart, but man, I'm tired of the way I'm living. I feel it. The things you said tonight, like they hit me hard. I don't want to live this way. If you're here and you just slip your hand and say, I want to ask Jesus into my heart. I've never done that. I've never made that decision, but I want to. I feel God telling me, like, I need to do that. I'm telling you, if you're feeling that pull right now, that's God. That's the Holy Spirit pursuing your heart right now. Would you just slip up your hand and say, yeah, I want to ask Jesus into my heart. I'll lead you through a prayer. We won't call you out. We'll all pray together. Anybody at all just want to raise up your hand and say, I want to pray tonight. I want to ask Jesus in my heart. Anybody at all? Awesome. Well, listen, we're just going to sit here a while and, just ask God, like, maybe there are some things holding you back from serving God fully, but you haven't recognized them. Like, maybe just sit there and just ask God, like, God, what are my traps? Like, what are the things that I really need to be cutting out of my life? Like, Lord, what are those things? What are those things that I've been dabbling around in that I know is going to lead to destruction in my life? What are those things? So I want you guys to just sit there with just head bowed and eyes closed, and we're just going to just ask the Lord, like, God, what do you want to show us? Even myself included, guys, like, there are things in my life that I know I need to cut out of my life that might be holding me back. And I want to give those things to God, and I want to ask God, like, God, what are those things? I don't like this anymore. So just feel free to sit there and just ask God, or feel free to stand, whatever you feel led to do. If you still feel led to go talk to a leader, like you want to go talk to somebody, go do that.